Get right into it. So we're going to start with talking about toxic stress and adults. So toxic stress is different than daily stress. All of us have daily stress. Most people do. In fact, daily stress is actually, in some terms, healthy. It shows us what's important. It shows us that we're doing things that have meaning to us. If you were a person that experienced no stress at all, I would probably be a little concerned. So what's the difference between toxic stress and just day-to-day stress? And I will tell you as a hint, this past year has been filled with what we would consider toxic stress. So toxic stress is being in a constant state of vigilance. Vigilance is what separates toxic stress from normal stress. So it's this ongoing, constant state of stress that doesn't really have an end. So if you think back to the last year and all the things that went on, pretty much every person who has made it through 2020 up until now made it through a year of what we would call toxic stress, with just the amount of things happening, with the way that the world changed, what was happening in the political, the social climate. There was a lot going on. So I want to really acknowledge that before we move forward, that if over the past year you felt even more on edge, it's for a very good reason, because our brains and our bodies have been adjusting or trying to adjust to a state of uncertainty and a state of just kind of ongoing stress happening. So I'm going to read off some of the symptoms of what toxic stress looks like in adults. Oftentimes, if kids have been exposed to toxic stress, so if this is a kid who is in an abusive household, has exposure to domestic violence, something like that, usually the way that they experience toxic stress is that we'll see, as parents, we'll see it in their behavior. But for adults, it can look a little bit different. So for adults, and I'm going to read these off, and maybe what I can have you do is, if you have felt like you've experienced any of this over the past year as I read them off, maybe just hit an emoji. Whatever emoji resonates with you, or if you have your camera on, you want to do a thumbs down, whatever works for you, let me know so we can kind of see who's been experiencing what. So anyone who's experienced a greater sensitivity to anything stressful. Okay, we got some thumbs up. And also you can type in the chat if that works best for you. All right, quite a few people. You feel like you've been having more intense responses to things, maybe more emotional responses to things than you have before. Okay, we got a few more, quite a few more. When you do get stressed out, oh, I love that emoji. You guys want to change up the emojis? I am all for it. We're here for a good time right now as we're talking about stress. You feel like your stress response lasts longer. So if something happens where you get a little stressed out, it kind of takes you a longer amount of time to like calm yourself back down maybe than it used to. We got some thumbs up in the chats. Good. This is a fun one. Memory. You feel like, oh my gosh, I feel really forgetful. I keep forgetting things that normally I wouldn't be forgetting. Yes, definitely. You're not going crazy. This is a sign of the environment we've been living in. And with memory, cognition. So very similar. We're like, sometimes things you're like, have trouble making sense of things. Maybe someone tells you something, you have to be like, huh, what, huh? Like 5 or 6 times. Okay, a couple more people. You feel just overall more emotional maybe than you have before, whether it's negative emotions, positive emotions, just more emotions that are kind of bubbling up. Okay, and how about if you felt just fatigued, like you just feel tired? Okay. So I got quite a few. I don't think I can see every single person on the screen right now, but it looks like we have quite a few people that can kind of relate to what's happening. So the point of this exercise is to show you that, the point of a lot of what we're going to do today is to show you that you're not